Attention maggots, I'm Sergeant Slaughter. If you'd like to get a Sergeant Slaughter photograph, autograph, how about a poster, one of a kind with my two nemesis? Or if you'd like to get a t-shirt, you're welcome to do that also. All you gotta do is go online at sergeantslaughter.com. Have you got that? Do it today, and that's an order. Don't make me come looking for you, maggots. Anything else? Okay, you're dismissed.
Bestow Productions presents Creative Continuity at Baltimore Comic Con 2014. Get the latest news directly from comic book artists and writers. Tune in for Creative Continuity's coverage of Baltimore Comic Con.
I'm the Boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you.
We bring the convention to you.
Here with the legendary Jerry, the King Lawler.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
How exciting.
So what got you started in this journey of yours?
Are you asking me what got me started in wrestling, or are you asking me what got me started in doing the artwork that we're here today at the Baltimore Comic Con to showcase?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Well, actually, I started doing artwork a long time before I even dreamed of being a wrestler. Probably when I was 5 or 6 years old. As a little kid, just drawing mainly Superman, Batman, superheroes. I was real fascinated by that. And as I got older, I continued. And when I at first started thinking about what I wanted to do in life for a career, I just imagined that someday I would be a comic book artist. That's at least what I, wanted to do with my life as a kid growing up. All the way through high school, then I majored in art and wound up winning a full tuition commercial arts scholarship to the University of Memphis, and I was pretty much set, intent on being a commercial artist. Wow. And then one day, one ill-fated day, for some reason, my dad was a big wrestling fan, and he and I would go to the matches there in Memphis on Monday nights. And one day I drew some caricatures of the professional wrestlers there in town, and on a whim just sent them to the TV station. I don't even know what I was expecting, but anyway, the next Saturday morning I turned on the TV, and there were the two announcers, Lance Russell and Dave Brown, sitting there welcoming everybody to Saturday morning wrestling show. And I saw my drawings, my pictures were sitting on the desk right there, and I went, yeah, that's why I said, oh my God, they're going to show my art. And sure enough, he said, gets to halfway through the show, and he said, hey, we got some artwork sent in by a young fan named Jerry Lawler. Here's some pictures you do of Jackie Fargo and Tojo Yamamoto and the different wrestlers. And so when the show was over, my phone rings, and it was the announcer, Lance Russell. He calls me up and says, hey, all the wrestlers liked your artwork and want to know if you would send some more next week, and we'll show them again. So it became a regular thing that I was doing caricatures, and they were showing my artwork in lieu of having to send a camera crew down to the Monday Night Wrestling. Instead of highlights, I would draw sort of like a courtroom artist, would draw highlights of what went on in a trial. I became like a ringside artist for the wrestling. I would kind of draw what went on in the matches the previous Monday, and then they'd show it the following Saturday. Finally, after a few weeks of that, he calls me back again and says, hey, some of the wrestlers want to meet you. They got some stuff, artwork they'd like for you to do, so could you come and be on the show? So then, this was like, oh my God, now I'm on television showing my art. Met the big star wrestler at the time was this guy named the Fabulous Jackie Fargo, bleached blonde hair, big tough guy. And he comes to me and he says, kid, I like your artwork. I want you to come down. I own a nightclub. I want you to do some paintings at my club. So I went down and did that. Anyway, make a long story short, Jackie and I became good friends. And I was fascinated with the lifestyle of the wrestling and watching him and going to shows with him and things like that. And I just thought, man, this has got to be the greatest life ever. Wow. So finally I started hounding him. I said, Jackie, could I just try wrestling one time? Could you just let me have one match? He said, no, kid, you're too good an artist. You don't want to get involved in wrestling. Stick with art. I kept hounding him, and finally he said, look, if I let you get one match, you promise me you'll go back to be an artist and continue that the rest of your career? And I said, I promise. Of course, that was 43 years ago, and I'm still doing the wrestling, but at least with Mike Kingston's comic book Headlocked and some of the other artwork that I've been doing. Have I got one? Can they hand me one of those comic books? I've been able to get back into the drawing. This is the comic book I did the cover for, and I've done the cover for some Dynamite comics, Zorro comic books. I've done the cover for WWE comics, and so I've had a chance to kind of get back in coming to things like here, the Baltimore Comic Con, get my feet wet again and doing the artwork. So now that I've bored you to tears, you asked for it.
No, that was, I had no idea. I had no idea when they said
it is funny. I mean, a lot of people only know me from the wrestling aspect of my career. They don't know, that I have done art my entire life. But yeah, it's a cool thing. The cool thing about this Headlock comic book is the fact that not only is the cover done by me, an artist, the interior work is done by a professional wrestler from Australia. All the stories are written by guys like Hurricane Helms, Chris Daniels. I mean, just a ton of Mr. Kennedy, a ton of professional wrestlers are all involved in this project. So it's been a lot of fun, and I think it's gonna be a real big success.
I think so too. Wow. Creative continuity with Jerry the King Lawler. Thank you, the legend. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, man. Thank you.
All right, signing out.
Here we go.
We interrupt our scheduled programming for this report from Harold Gann at RetroCon.
Creative continuity. We're here with the lovely and talented.
And not to mention infamous Katarina Leigh Waters, formerly known as Katie Lea Burchill in WWE, then Winter in TNA. Now, actress, writer, and producer, director extraordinaire. Oops, was that too much?
Not at all. You are doing everything, aren't you?
I was a big wrestling fan, and one day I found out that they have such things as wrestling schools, and that you got actually learn to do all those cool moves that I've only seen on TV. So I went and I trained, and I loved it, and I did some shows, and then I got lucky when WWE was in England. They took a look at me and signed me, and then I came over here, and hey presto.
Now, I gotta ask you, I mean, you're a woman. And that mat doesn't look like it's very forgiving when you're slammed on there. Is it painful to do the wrestling moves?
Well, I find it interesting that you preface this question with, you're a woman, like that makes me any less tough. But I find that, I don't know, I've always had a pretty high pain threshold, and I've always enjoyed, like I did some MMA and some Thai boxing. I've always enjoyed a little bit of, physical controversy on the body. So therefore, for me, the pain aspect wasn't like really a big deal. I'd say I'm pretty tough is what I'm trying to say. I'm really, really tough.
There we go. So you started with the WWE?
Yeah, I started by myself on the independent circuit. Okay. I went to WWE in 2006, trained with them for a while, went up on the road 2008, and then I went to TNA, or also known as Impact Wrestling after that. And so then I went back to the independent circuit, and then finally pretty much secretly, unofficially retired earlier this year.
All right, awesome. But now you're pursuing something much bigger.
Well, yes, depends on your perspective. But yes, I consider it to be much bigger too.
As do I.
But actually, when I grew up, I did a lot of acting, and when I finished school, I went to university and studied film and drama. So that was sort of originally what I was going to get into, and wrestling just kind of sort of happened and took over. So now I'm getting back into film, and I've been doing a little bit of acting, independent movies and things like that. I also started writing and directing, and find that almost more thrilling. And in fact, if I may be allowed to be so bold as to promote my new upcoming web series.
Absolutely, by all means.
It's called The Red Light Diaries. It's going to be youtube.com/Red Light Diaries. We've shot the pilot episode so far. And the rest of the series will be shot hopefully in the next couple of months or so, and then we'll be releasing the episodes one by one. And hopefully everybody loves it and watches it.
All right, all right.
That means you watch it and love it.
You say you like writing you find it just as thrilling as acting?
Yes, because the thing that I like about writing, and then also producing more sort of out of must needs, because I'm basically putting my own projects together at the moment. But what I find so exciting about it is that you can have a thought or a vision or an image in your mind, and it all starts with like one little thing, and you might sit down and write one sentence, and then you write another one, and before you know it, your fingers are typing words that you didn't even know you were thinking, and you're creating this whole thing, and it grows out of itself. And then when you finally actually take it out of your head and are able to put it into real life images for other people to see, it's like the most incredible magical thing that anybody's ever experienced. So I'm on Twitter @Katarina'sInfamy, and then my website is KatarinasInfamy.com. And so if you want to, you know, keep up with stuff that I'm doing, you can follow me there, and then hopefully there'll be much more projects and other things
All right.
to talk about. And thank you for watching. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Thank you for doing the interview. And we're signing off.
I started doing a bunch of shows. I got signed by WWE when they were over in England. I got lucky, and there we go.
Now, hold on for a minute.
I think this is Boogeyman on the loudspeaker right now.
Oh, that's Boogeyman.
What's wrong? The cat got your tongue?
I don't want no trouble. I just want to do an interview. I didn't actually.
Laughter heals the soul, but everything that shines is not gold.
So what are these things on your hands?
To scratch your head with.
It's not itchy, but thanks.
I've always wanted to wrestle. I wrestle every day with life.
Oh, okay. You like hurting people?
No pain, no gain.
This is Harold Gant with Creative Continuity. We signing off with Boogeyman. God help us all.
And now let me ask you a question, my friend.
Sure.
When you get stuck out here, having to do these boring interviews, what are you really thinking of? What is really going through your mind while I'm sitting here running off at the mouth? Are you really thinking like, man, what am I going to order for dinner when I get out of this place? Or,
Not at all.
I really need to go to the bathroom.
Not with this interview. Not
Really?
at all. Not with this interview.
You were actually listening to what I was saying? Oh,
I'm impressed. I had no idea.
Well, thank you. It's been my pleasure. And listen, anytime you ever want to come back and interview me again, call in advance so I won't be here. No, I'm just kidding.